welcome to the B Team Podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson.
And we're here every week to talk to you about all things Bentonville, bourbon, and business. The B Team Podcast. Be here. Welcome to the B Team Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Kaleb Plank.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Are we breaking news on the show
tonight?
I
mean, well, we thought no better way than just start off.
Well, it's kind of Rob 2.0, you know? So, I mean, it's...
younger, stronger, better looking.
I know. I looked over there and I was like, man, Rob's been training like he said he was going to.
I mean, he was so good on the last episode that Bobby got voted off the island.
He got voted off.
Now we just need a new logo with Kaleb.
I know, right? I mean, if we just had a way to fix this.
You know.
Whoa. Oh, hey.
Man.
Perfect.
Boom!
Look at that.
Man, that's perfect. See? That is exactly...
Amazing.
This is amazing. Kaleb, welcome to the B Team.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Glad to be the B Team. I mean, this has been my lifelong dream for the last year that you guys have been doing the podcast, and I'm glad that we finally got to make this happen.
Well, we're here every Thursday for all things Bentonville business and bourbon. And I don't know, can you possibly have another job? I mean, you got first we spoke to you about the jiu-jitsu place, right?
Yeah.
And now today you're here for another gig. You're like the paintball king of Northwest Arkansas.
Wild World
and the
Paintball.
podcast.
And now the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it all.
Well, I know you guys are whiskey guys, so actually I brought something better. When you can't do whiskey, Pure Leaf Arnold Palmer. This is what classy people do.
Is that a sponsorship?
He's got
sponsorship.
He's got sponsors already.
Pure
Eric
Leaf
Howerton
is
for sponsorship.
I bring this sponsorship, because it's lemon flavor with natural flavors. So after a tough podcast, when you got to crack one open, it's the only way that you can kind of make things happen.
He surpassed us in his second podcast.
If we can't get a sponsorship deal out of this from Parker and Eric, I don't know what we're doing.
I just keep it classy.
Well, cheers. Bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And Matt, what are we drinking?
Yeah.
Well, so we're drinking. It's not Pure Leaf.
It's not the good stuff.
It's been
close
holiday.
second.
It's 6 years old out of Missouri, bottled in bond.
So I have to put it into two categories with you: the crap that you bring as a joke, or the good stuff. Where's this going to fall?
I've never had this. I saw it was out of Missouri and they're a neighbor, so I was like, I'm going to be a good Samaritan and buy one from them.
So you don't know if it's any good?
No, I have no idea. I've never had it.
What was retail price on this? Ish?
I think like 55.
Okay, so it's probably a decent bottle.
It's, I don't know that
It's not a dry fly?
I mean, it's not Pure Leaf, I don't think.
No, I mean, it's not top shelf like what I'm bringing to the table, but
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little creme brulee,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little stewed bananas.
Yeah.
He's all
You're going to
You're just making this up.
You're gonna need,
I don't even know what you're talking
vanilla?
about. I'm like,
Cracked vanilla, maybe a little peppercorn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Russ.
No clue. Yeah, I'm just all like Pure Leaf, maybe a cube of ice, and that's about as far as it
That
goes.
logo.
I love
It's
it.
unbelievable.
So you got to tell us, Kaleb, who do you have here with you? And we want to hear all about Wild World Paintball.
Yeah.
Wild
This is one of my partners, Chris Hulsey. So you first,
Chris.
we got to go back to
Chris
how
gets
me and
nothing.
Chris-
It's his
yeah,
first
no,
time
he's.
here.
He's a rookie.
You get too much Pure Leaf in this
Yeah.
guy, and it gets
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
So,
you don't want me juiced up over here.
yeah, we got to pull back on it. But so I got to give you a little background. So me and Chris actually do martial arts together. So we own a bunch of martial arts school here in Northwest Arkansas. So that's how this whole thing started like 15 years ago. And the paintball deal is important because you got to understand how Chris got involved with the martial art business. So he's actually the smart one. So he was trained with me, and we had the gym in Bentonville, and he's going to school to be an engineer. Well, graduation time comes up, and he's married and little family.
I thought you said he's a smart one. If he's married, he can't be the smart one.
Yeah, well, smart than most.
Shout out to the divorce guy in the room.
Yeah.
Hey.
So he's like, hey, man, graduation's coming up. And I was like, you know what? You should give up on your hopes and dreams of a real job as an engineer making like $100,000 or more. And we should open a martial arts school down in Springdale where you can make pretty much zero money, and this will be way more fun.
You're a good salesman.
So
Why do I sign up for that?
Yeah, it's a good sale.
So I had to talk him into that. So fast forward all these years later, when he brought me the opportunity for the paintball field, kind of had me where I was like, yeah, I'm all in.
He's like, I don't even really need to sell this to you because I've been living.
Yeah.
I've lived this life. You owe me this one.
It feels like he owed you. Like, hey, I got dog shit in the bank for you. You're like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, what?
What were you making back then?
When we first started,
When we first opened?
I made $116 a week.
Is that gross or net? Big difference.
That's gross. It was so gross. It was terrible. We were so poor.
We had 0 students. We had no sign on the building. I
didn't have
would set out a little A-frame every day and write Inferno and martial arts on it.
You know what? You look familiar. You were standing in front of the Pleasant Grove Walmart collecting dollars like homeless.
Caleb somehow, I think he hitchhiked up here from Fight Club in Clarksville.
That's basically
and he found you.
Wrote me into
exactly
it.
$116 a week.
Which, speaking of being divorced, that almost got me there with my wife, because I was graduating. She thought I was going to have this nice gig and life was going to change real fast.
Yeah.
No. I convinced her to be poor for a significant longer time.
Yeah. No, yeah. So whenever he brought me the paintball deal, because Chris is an avid paintball player.
What's the definition of an avid paintball player?
Oh, for me, I play probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40 times a year. I've drilled and practiced probably 3 or 4 times this week already.
So if the B Team podcast decided to go out there, it would be good if I was on your team.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be a good
Now, do you have one of those backpacks that like holds the air with the...
No.
Is that a thing?
So that does exist. You won't see like top end players use that. That's you'll see people play when they go play what we call like a big game.
So
it's like a big scenario day where there's a bunch of people because they can put giant tanks in there and it'll last for 8-9 hours. But when you go to competitive play, you're playing 10-15 minute match, and so
it's quick that it's over.
Very fast.
Yeah. The competition is like fast. My introduction to paintball was in the 90s where like I saved up $60 and I gave it to my friend's mom for COD delivery of this paint gun. And it was called...
I forgot about COD.
Yeah, I know, right? That's how far back it was. So she gives me... Because I couldn't even get shipments out at Dad's place because he was, off the grid, different story. But so I get this paint gun. It was El Diablo. And it was a pump. And it took those CO2 cartridges. I got maybe like 6 shots. And I'd be dropping a $5 cartridge, put another one in, and you'd be back out there. So I definitely was not on the elite side of how paintball works because like the stuff these guys run, like it's crazy, the technology. I mean, it's just...
I haven't played in probably 15 or so years.
Yeah.
And I remember like the biggest problem was when one broke in the barrel because then all of them break in the barrel.
Absolutely.
But it's also...
And you have people trying to kill you or shoot you out there.
But it's an active sport.
Down, unscrewing
right? You have to you're not sitting behind a tree for an hour.
Well, if you try to find one.
Yeah, it depends on the version. Paintball's evolved over the last 20 years, and yes, so the most competitive version, what you would see if you went to go watch a pro league, would be what's called X-Ball. X-Ball is a highly athletic ordeal. People are running and diving and crawling. It's insane.
We won't be in that one.
Well, and they say like my wife used to work for AT and Brazil, and the guy was always like, it brings you back to like the original natural state where you're gonna either hunt and be hunted. Like you're out there.
You're gonna go.
Someone's gonna get you if you don't.
Gotta go.
But there's other forms of play where, you can go play recreational, and that's a lot more casual.
Give me different levels.
Yeah, let's...
So there's a bunch of different forms of play. So you have like recreational paintball, which is what most people go and do. You go to a birthday party, bachelor party, whatever else. It's nice and relaxed. It's a good time. It's not too crazy. Then you step up and you have what would be considered mil-sim paintball, which is where people are trying to recreate, military style action, and they dress up in all the outfits, and they've got what's called mag-fed style guns, and that's a whole different thing, which is actually pretty useful for training purposes and things like that. Then you have, when you start getting into competitive paintball, you have what's called 10-man, which is the original format. If you rewind competitive paintball back 25 years, it started with 10-man paintball, 10 people on one side, 10 people on the other, in the woods, all go out and play, and it's a little bit slower game because there's more people and it's bigger fields. That's where a lot of older people that are returning to the sport tend to find themselves. They don't want to go run and dive on the ground and crawl around all the time.
So that's what I played. That was like multi-hour in the field.
Like you post up and there's a fort on each
you want
side.
to do that.
That's what I did.
And then as you get into the more, modern competitive paintball, you have X-Ball, which is, it's a
lot of cardio.
A lot of cardio. It's a 15-minute match. At least at the professional level, it's a 15-minute match, and you play as many points as you can, 5-on-5, in that 15 minutes. And so 5-on-5, you shoot everybody. If you shoot everybody in a minute and a half, you go hit the buzzer, you get 1 point, reset 5-on-5.
How far away are you from one another?
150 feet.
So much.
50 yards?
50 yards.
50 yards.
Yeah, it's like a football field's kind of a size.
You know, the average professional point last year was about 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
So is everybody there 50 yards away, like kind of parked somewhere and just shooting?
So you start in a box. There's a start box on each gate, and it's about as long as this table. All 5 guys on your team has to have their gun touching that box. And when the whistle blows, they'll go in 10 and then count it down. And when the whistle blows, guns up, and you're playing.
Running and gunning.
Right,
and it's awesome to watch. Like, it's actually a really good spectator sport.
Yeah. You know, the guns are humming. They all shoot 10.5 balls per second.
And if you get hit, you're still in the game. It's just
as soon as you get hit, you're out.
Yeah.
And then, again, when all 5 are eliminated on one side, you hit the buzzer, you get a point, reset 5-on-5, do it again, and you do that inside a 15-minute window to score as many points as you can.
Goggles, masks,
mask up, all the whole thing.
The full
hoodie
caboodle.
Buy your hoodie real
What about groin shots? Like
that exists. That exists.
yeah,
I'm coming after you, Matthew.
It happens.
I've taken a few in my time, and you walk it off, and
Incidental.
You got to rub a little dirt on it, and you keep going.
Yeah, incidental. Hopefully. Yeah, so like, I didn't even realize paintball was to this level, you know? So like, when he brought me the thing, I think back to my childhood, and I was like, oh man, this is cool. So funny crossover story was, when he told me this, I was like, you know, one of our old training buddies, black belts, his name's Billy Ceranski. He was a paintball guy. And I knew he was kind of a big deal. I didn't quite know, because I remember when he came in, my buddy Mike, that we started the gyms together, was like, bro, that's Billy Ceranski. You know, I was just like, oh, okay, creeper. Who's Billy Ceranski? He's like, oh, he was one of the pro paintball players way back in the day. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you remember that documentary? I think it's called Push or something, that we used to watch when we were young kids, you know? And I was like, well, yeah, I thought this documentary was like VHS tape of somebody filming paintball. I didn't know these guys were a big deal, let alone know this guy's a big deal. So he trains jiu-jitsu. We become great friends all these years later. So Hulsey's telling me about this. And I was like, man, we should probably call Ceranski. Maybe he knows something about it. And then Chris educated me on who he is.
Yeah, Billy Ceranski is the...
was he the Michael Jordan of paintball?
Multiple-time world champion, played with Chicago Aftershock, world famous, is now the CEO of Core Outdoor, which is the largest paintball company in the industry. He is the
world.
He
runs the biggest company in the world.
He is the most powerful person in all of paintball.
So he's like the Elon Musk. Forget this Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm all like, maybe we should call Billy.
And I'm like, yeah, if you have his phone number, that'd be a good idea.
And you did?
Oh, so I called Billy and I was like, hey man, you're never going to believe what I'm getting into. And he loved it. He was just like, oh man, you're going to have so much fun, you know, because he used to live here.
So he knew the field.
Yeah. And so pro paintball actually was attached to Northwest Arkansas for several years, you know, that influenced the industry. And I didn't, you know, I'm clueless. I'm just like, well,
there's more pro players that live here than I can imagine.
So have you guys brought it back? Like, do you have events there?
We are growing. We are growing like crazy. We have competitive paintball here. We've got a team that I actually play for. NWA United is based out of here. We send people all over the country playing tournaments. It's pretty cool.
I mean, like, their last practice had like 40 people out there. I mean, like...
we even have a bunch of Red Bull guys here. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But so what we used to do, to change the subject a little, because you know how guys are all about, we would put those paintballs in the refrigerator before you go to play, so they hurt a little bit more.
A little more sting, trying to pick on your buddies. Yes. They've gotten smart.
Dick move.
They've changed all the paint stuff. Now that doesn't happen.
So
technology has happened.
So if you really want to I will tell you the secret, and people don't do this, but
don't do this.
What not to do?
That's what we're doing.
Disclaimer.
So when paint gets cold, it actually gets more brittle. And so it actually makes it harder to get out of your gun, and it actually makes it break easier on somebody.
That's probably why mine broke in the barrel.
Exactly. But when it gets hot, there's a gelatin shell on the outside, and that gelatin kind of melts together, and it gets a lot harder. And so whenever you have paint that's been sitting in the sun for a long time, it feels like you're shooting rocks at each other. I can remember back to one of the first tournaments I played. There was a small field that opened up in, I think it was Dardanelle, just down there, just outside of Russellville. Mm-hmm. It was their grand opening, and the grand opening, they were going to host a tournament. They'd never done this before. We show up. We go in the door and they show us the paint, and they've been storing this paint for 2 weeks in a metal building in the middle of July. Immediately we knew this problem. They break the paint out. We get there. I'm shooting a rock retaining wall from about 5 feet away, and I'm watching all the paint just bounce off of it like crazy. It's like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
That's a long day.
Yeah, I can remember at one point in time I was standing over somebody that was crawling, and I had snuck around behind him. I was 5 feet behind him, and I emptied a 200-round hopper into his back. None of them break. The only reason he called himself out was because it hurt so much. He's like, I'm done.
He's like, I don't care if it didn't break. Just
get me
leave me alone.
Oh, he had some whelps, from that, especially that close, because,
Yeah.
So explain the business model to me. So if I wanted to show up on a Saturday, I just pay for one of those options, or is there a membership base?
So there's a lot of options you have. There's the majority of people that come out are playing what we call walk-on paintball. They just show up to the door. They rent equipment, they jump out there into a group, and they play.
What does that run?
It depends on how much paint you shoot. Most people are going to go $50 or less on the day out. Your $30 is your entry and your rental, and then just how much paint.
And that's the 15-minute?
No, that's going to be all day of play.
Oh,
yeah. So like it's kind of like tennis or whatever. Everyone just waits and you like group up. Right?
Yeah. So like we have an open group, so walk-ons would be considered an open.
I like to call it like tennis to try to equate it back to me.
Well, I was going to circle back to that. We'll do it here in a minute.
But yeah, so you're looking at most people that come out for $50 are playing for anywhere between 3 to 5 hours, depending on how fast.
It's a great value to stay. A good value if you want to stay.
We also though, of course, do smaller parties. So if you were to do like say a birthday party, you don't want to be there for 4 hours. I don't know. Yeah, I've got children. I go to kids' birthday parties. I don't want to be anywhere for 4 hours.
Amen.
And so we have, an hour and a half to 2 hour block that you're looking at. $400 covers the whole party, and that's for
and what's better when you get to shoot that neighborhood?
Yeah, they take all their aggression and
bring your kids.
And then the dads come too, and they're like, I'm going to smoke that little kid.
Yeah, it's all like that's the sound that keeps kicking over my flower pot.
But if I did this all day thing for $50, and after an hour I'm bored, is there like a clubhouse where I can just go sit and drink and eat or watch TV?
So there's not a clubhouse per se yet. That's on the mode. Of course, we have a ton of plans for this place. We have been in the business now for 20 months. And so...
Oh, this is a new venture.
New venture. We just took it over, brought it back to life.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I didn't even know it was still open. When they brought me the thing, I was like, that place is still open?
Matter of fact, when we bought it, everyone we talked to said, that's still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we own it now. So
before it was just sitting, it was open?
It was open. So the person who ran it before, to his credit, he had ran it since he was 18 years old. His family bought it when he was 18, and he ran it for something like 15 years. If you can imagine being out there every weekend for 15 years, every Saturday, every Sunday,
fixing all the stuff,
operating the deal. He was over it. It was done. And so the operations maybe hadn't been kept up to the most degree, and he wasn't necessarily looking to push the limits of what the business could be. And we recognized that and saw the potential.
But he's keeping it alive.
He's keeping it alive. There was a very small community.
You guys got it for a good price. I'm kind of reading between the lines.
You can say
definitely. But at the same time, though, good price, and then you got to bring it.
We got to put a budget.
We had to bring in the bulldozer, and then.
So do you guys do like team building things?
We actually do a lot of corporate events. We have
because I would think like it's a good outing to get. Yeah. Then if you have someone that you don't like so much, there
you're on the other team.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of corporate events like during the week or things, team building, because we have a thing called low impact. So like it hurts a little bit less, and we got a setup to where like you don't have to get shot. You can shoot some stuff at some people because we got reps and employees where it's like when we build up the teams and everything, so you can have a good time if you don't want to. Really
if somebody doesn't know how to shoot a gun, it's pretty basic.
Yeah. Point and click.
Yeah, but with the team building,
you might not hit anything, but still, you point and click.
And with the team building, it's unique because here's what I learned about paintball because of Ceranski. So I know him as Jiu-Jitsu Ceranski. The paintball thing, I'm just like I didn't realize. So we go to Las Vegas for this paintball show, like some kind of exhibition. Like this is a big
industry conference.
Yeah, this is a big
deal. Does Kaleb get to go on all the trips?
He's always on
trips.
I'm on the trip.
Absolutely.
That's
what we do have. We broke it for this summit, which is the Paintball Industry Conference, but we do have a rule that one of us has to be in Northwest Arkansas at all points in time. We're both not allowed to be gone, and we broke it, and nothing burned down.
We made it, but this industry, I just had no idea it was this big. So we go to this thing in Vegas, and I'm just like, I don't know, a bunch of paintball nerds, I'm like, 'cause I'm a martial arts bum. I'm like, this shouldn't be a big deal. So Ceranski's there and we're meeting all these people, and apparently I'm talking to somebody important. I mean, like, I don't even know his name. It was something, like
Yosh Rao, which is one of the most decorated players of all time. Like top 15. Arguably would make the Mount Rushmore players of all time. He's just going like, "Who are you?"
I was just like, "What do you do?
Why are you here?"
You knew who he was when you walked up?
Oh, absolutely.
And he had an interesting story because he was telling me about like all their custom stuff and all this, and I was just I was so intrigued, and then I didn't know, but he was really cool, we got along, but I just didn't know how big this industry was. But what was unique about it, so we go to this dinner with Ceranski and a lot of important people that I'm just like, we're going to dinner.
The who's it? I mean, we're talking about.
So you need to prep him in advance.
Yes.
I would, right?
It's your fault.
I'm trying to write down notes for all these people.
Josh does that for us.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to be, Bobby. If you know that they're incompetent, you need to make sure that you set them up for success.
Well, here's the problem with Yosh is that I did tell him. I said, hey, that's Yosh Rao. He's this great player. And then I did this and turned back around. And when I did, he was already knee-deep. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get it.
And so I didn't even notice, like, people were lined up, like, to talk and get pictures or what, like, people are all like, hey, man, you're in the way. I'm like, what are y'all waiting on? I'm like, I was talking to this dude. Well, so we go to this dinner. And it's apparently all the big dogs in the industry, which I'm clueless, and I just know.
I'm taking notes. I'm writing down everything.
I'm telling stories about.
Clearly, it's not a pen and paper in hand, right?
I'm like, no, I got it.
He's like bringing me somewhere.
Oh man, it's
just a lot of hot air.
Very similar. Very similar.
I'm staggering around, but as we get to talking, because in the martial arts industry, there's a lot of passion and like as an athlete, of stuff that comes out, like how serious it is to you. And I got to see a sign out of Ceranski where it's like, man, dude, his passion for paintball, like he would die for this industry. If the doctor told him, you're going to die in 6 months if you keep working in this industry, he would be like, all right, make the plans. Because, I mean, he is so into this. And that's where I learned how much camaraderie and like cohesion there is like in this sport. And these guys, like, it's a lifestyle. And just to see like what he's doing for the industry to keep it alive, like what he has to do, because, love or hate Ceranski in the industry as far as being a big deal, like he's fighting every day to keep it alive, to whatever detriment that it costs him. And when I saw that, that's when I was like, man, I get this, because that's what I've spent my whole life doing. Like, I understand
kind of what you guys do.
Yeah, like it's bigger than just playing. And that's where I go back to the team building, is there's just something about playing paintball, as silly as it sounds. It's just like doing martial arts. It brings something out of you with the people you do it with. Mm-hmm. And the success that we have seen out of groups that come out and like work together and the cohesion, like it really makes a legit impact. A lot better than like going and like, hey, let's go sit around at, for lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
what about the Six or the Fabulous Rap Party paintball game?
Well, I was going to say that, or maybe we get you and Bobby on a team.
No, we have to be against each other.
Then Caleb and I are on a team. Well, you can team
That's
build.
my guy right there.
You guys can team build.
Yeah.
And then like Rob probably won't show up, so it'll be Caleb and I against you.
I mean, that's fair. Like I'm not. They do call me the Amish assassin. I mean, it's like
the Amish assassin.
It's true.
Yeah, So actually, that's not my nickname. My nickname is "You're hit. Get off the field." I hear that. That's all I ever hear, and I'm like,
Caleb, you're super entrepreneurial. Like, think about let's whiteboard this for a second.
Yeah.
What if you were the first one in the world to combine jiu-jitsu MMA with paintball? Like, there's no gun, but you got like paint on your shoe, and if you kick somebody in the neck, like
I
let's
vote
get
gun.
crazy, right?
I vote gun. I
you
say
have the gun
pick gun and wrestle around.
Or it starts out you're shooting at each other, and then you finish off with a cage match.
Yes.
There you go.
I mean,
Pull it together.
stranger things have happened.
Be the first guy.
I
like that.
Well, they've got different types of guns. You got some of those guns?
Yeah, we want to see some of the guns.
So there's a unique thing. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of airsoft, where these guys shoot bees at each other. So there's a big culture that's getting into like this tactical play where it's like, I want realistic. So there's a thing called MagFed where I have limited ammunition, but it's air paintballs. Because the issue with this airsoft thing is you have like all this gear and plates on, and I hit you with a BB across the field, and you're supposed to
That's
tell
one of the
me
guns?
that you're out.
So this is a basic rental gun. So if you come in and you play, I say basic rental. This is one of our, I guess, upgraded rentals, but this is still something that if you come and you've never played before, this is what they're going to stick in your hand.
Yeah, look at this here.
Now, so how much paint do we get this thing?
I'm gonna let you.
This is heavy.
That popper on top holds about 200 paintballs.
This is heavy. Am I holding it right?
Yeah, just pull the triggers. Fine.
Matt.
Yeah, why are you nervous?
There's no air, no paint.
This is it's unloaded, right? Yeah.
Look at this one.
So this is what he's talking about. This is a mag-fed paintball gun, which looks a lot more like.
That's a higher end gun, no?
Well,
look at that.
Actually, no.
Oh, it is a little magazine.
It's literally mag-fed.
So
yeah, very realistic.
Magazines that you put paintballs in, and so this is for a little bit more realistic, simulated training. The air tank would go. Yeah, I'd want to get on there.
But do you have like police? Do police?
So we actually have a lot of agencies that come out, and and they'll play regular paintball, or they'll do. Sometimes they'll do mag-fed, something realistic, and that's what I'm saying. Like with this airsoft thing, is like there's this popularity, but the problem with the airsoft is like you don't know when you're marked.
Yeah.
So with these mag-feds, people go out and they play the paintball, so you have limited rounds. You have to reload. You got to sneak up on people. So it's actually a very realistic type scenario. So a lot of the guys that are into, firearms training, gun courses, this is a nice way to go do something fun.
Because it simulates the same kind of.
It's in the ballpark.
Now, what do these guns run for you guys to buy these?
Oh, that's a great question. So
thank you.
He comes up with them every day.
Yeah, this right here would be roughly about a $300 gun, not counting the tank and everything else, just the gun itself. This right here it would probably actually be a little cheaper. This is probably about $250.
This looks cool.
This right here is probably, so these are both what you call mechanical guns because there's no electronic pieces to them. This right here that we use for our kind of our upgrade rental is probably the premier mechanical gun on the market. It is super consistent, super reliable. You can bang that thing through any conditions and it's going to be ready to go. And it has some really tried and true ergonomics to it that a lot of like tournament style players would still like.
I mean, like, how does this work? Got it fixed for a while. It should click, but.
There's no air in it, so you're not going to get.
Oh, it's dead? Come on.
I did not want that to blow out.
So, Hulsey knows me pretty well, obviously, and he brought a tank with no air in it.
Yeah, I did that intentionally.
Probably on purpose.
Smart.
No, I shot all the air of it. I shot all the air of it at the field earlier because I didn't want you to do something.
They even have the carbon fiber.
That one's called the Ninja.
This was in a case because this is actually my personal gun that I didn't want to get scratched up because this is really nice.
I'm not allowed to touch that.
He's
one.
like, yeah,
he's not going to pass that over to the side of the table.
Let it go over there.
Yeah. I don't get to touch that one.
Just to kind of give you a look at the range of kind of guns on here. So I'd take a second to put this together.
Now, do they still have these that are like the little auto feed things?
Yeah.
So this is my gun. This is what I use.
It's cool, right?
Am I allowed to hold it?
Yes, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Just
don't bang it on the desk.
I can't touch it.
That stinks.
It's just me. Don't worry. You're fine.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this goes for.
So that's what's called a private label gun. There's only 220 of those made. I think I'm the only one that has the red to black face, and I think that may be a one of one, and that's about a $1,700 gun.
But if you play all the time, I mean,
yeah, like it's
that's cool.
Now, do you guys allow the automatic ones out there?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So with this right here, so when you play tournament play, there is a cap limit on how fast you can shoot. So this gun probably, if I put it in a true semi-automatic, could probably shoot somewhere around 20 balls per second. That's a lot.
That ain't much fun.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, when you're out there and you're running and you know that you're visible and you hear like,
yeah,
like within 3 seconds, you get hit 8 times.
Yeah.
Well, what he said before, he was over the guy and hit him with 200 rounds. I'm trying to figure out how you can do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Now, so because of that, though, back in the early 2000s, people were like, "Oh, well, I want to shoot as fast as possible," and so they put electronic boards in here that we'd call cheater boards that would have all these secret modes on there. That when you pull the trigger once, it shoots 5 times or whatever else. So competitive play have moved away from what's called true semi-automatic and moved to what we do is called ramping. Now, ramping is not an automatic firing mode. So if you pull the trigger one time, it's going to fire one time. But what it does do is if you pull the trigger enough times within a 5-second interval, it will go to the capped rate of fire, which competitive play capped rate of fire is 10.5 balls per second. So I don't have to pull it 10 and a half times. But if I pull it about this speed right here, it'll shoot at 10.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a fully automatic, but it gives you a little bit more control to where people aren't.
But you're right. Like you also can, it's a double-edged sword because you can run out.
Yeah, when you're out of ammo.
You can carry like other cases of paint.
Which I brought a pod here of paint, if you want to say. This is a pod. These hold about 180 paintballs in them. When you play competitively, you'll take some of these on your back. I personally, the kind of position I play, usually have about 5 or 6 of these on my back, which means that I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,400 paintballs on me on any given one point that I play.
Do you ever lose? Be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
Very infrequently?
Well, it depends. If I'm playing you guys, if I'm playing other competitive players.
If you're playing competitive.
Yeah.
Do you win 80% of the time?
We have a winning rate. I'd say we win probably 60, 65, 70, but we're playing other people of our skill level.
Well, it's kind of like other sports where there's different leagues and stuff. So like they've been making their way up because like there's professional teams out there. Like this is
it's
what he said. If he's playing us though, he'd beat us 100% of the time.
Well,
pretty close.
So the first time that we went, this was before I had anything. I just had this. I had this pump one shot.
Yeah.
And so like we showed up and we thought we were the big guys and. So these guys were like, "Oh, you want to play with us?" And we're like, "Sure." So like we go out there and it's like, and they're like, yeah, and like it's over with the second
you were done.
Yeah,
I think you might have had my old LD off.
I think I did.
Pump, and that was it.
But to give you perspective of how much paint some people carry, so paintball's a sport for everybody. If you're a small guy, you can go play. If you're a bigger guy, we might put you in the back line. And I know guys that on my team that take 8 to 12 pods. 12 pods.
So where are they carrying them? Backpacks?
All around.
Yeah, like those
on a belt?
A belt is right, and you just take them and you just go. And those guys, when the match starts, they start shooting. And they don't stop, and they just are dumping them one after the other.
There's a strategy to it. It's actually fun to watch like high level paintball, and so they've actually got some momentum because there's like a new documentary coming out.
There's all kinds. So the sport.
Well, and you're on our podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, if this doesn't break, Ceranski owes me money because of this podcast.
Exactly.
Like I just
Shout out to Ceranski.
I just saved the whole industry. You're welcome.
I guess a little history of the industry in the early 2000s, between 2000 and 2004. There was a lot of people that were pouring money into the sport because they thought it was going to be the next X Games. If you go to one of these big tournaments, it's bright and colorful, it's tons of action, and so people like Intel and Rockstar and all these different companies were pouring money into the sport. And then the financial crash of 2008 happened, and all that money disappeared, and the industry really shrank. I mean, it probably halved overnight. And so then, since 2008, the industry's had to rebuild, but had to rebuild in a healthier way where they weren't reliant on outside sponsors to be able to prop it up. And that's been a slow, painful process. But now, especially because of COVID was a huge boost to the industry because it's one of the few things you can go do. You were wearing a mask, you were outside, and really helped blow the sport
taking off.
And put a lot of organic dollars in that weren't, again, outside money into the sport. And so we are really at a precipice where kind of what a lot of people are calling the new golden age of paintball, where the major leagues are, they've gotten back on ESPN this past year.
What was the new sponsor they picked up? Was that Hertz?
Hertz.
Hertz Revolution?
Yeah, that's a big sponsor for the league.
Greenleaf.
Pure Leaf. Well, no, Pure Leaf is my private sponsor.
Greenleaf is a little different.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, it's left-handed cigarettes.
There's a lot of money being spent on media. There's a couple of major documentaries going in. Matter of fact, the player that he was talking about, Yosh Rao, that he was talked to his ear off for about 45 minutes. Is one of the founding members of one of the greatest team in paintball history. Is a team called San Diego Dynasty. They have a huge documentary that's supposed to come out this year about how they were formed because they were the most dominant team ever as a bunch of 17, 18-year-old kids in the early 2000s. And guess what? They're still playing, and they're still the best team in the world.
Now, is there money to be made? Like, I assume there's sponsorships? It's a profession.
It's a professional sport. Again, that's cool. There's
not too late for us.
No,
you can
make it pro. You can earn a living. I mean, I think the top contract in the league, in the professional league this past year was $180,000 to play paintball. That's not bad living.
No, I'd take it.
Yeah,
more than I'm making now to be a barbershop.
Here's the problem.
Shout out to the barbershop.
Y'all are gonna have to do some cardio.
There's a little bit of running. There's a little bit of running.
A lot of cardio.
Well, even at there's muscles you didn't even know you had the next day after you play. It's so
It's
fun.
not this one that's sore. I mean,
No, the back's your
it's
leg.
all the other ones. You're like,
all my martial arts guys.
Well, look
know.
at you guys. Nobody can hit you. You guys are both like so skinny and lean and fit.
I turn sideways. I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, where'd he go?
yeah, disappear.
Side behind you or I.
Yeah, all my martial arts guys know that the weekend after a tournament, because I teach a jiu-jitsu class for our martial arts business on 9 a.m. on Monday mornings, and they know that Monday morning after I get back from tournament, I'm smoked, and that's the time to jump on.
That's your chance to get it.
They run me ragged those mornings.
Yeah, that's awesome. You go get them. But man, it's really been fun because, I'm obviously the ignorant galoof that's just staggering around.
Well, that was made clear from the podcast today.
Yeah.
Well, but and you got a new job today.
and now I just got hired.
I lost him. I mean,
They're happy. They're like, finally, Caleb, get out of this.
That's all it took. Bobby not to be here.
Yeah, but it's really been awesome just because the environment and just the people you meet and I mean, it's this whole thing I just never even knew existed to that level.
Well, and your location, you're like centrally located in Northwest Arkansas.
Makes it
right
really
outside
easy
of
for me to
Tonka,
play, and because we have little kids and it's a family thing, kind of like what we do at the martial arts school. Like
I like the family thing. Like I got a kid right now that I'd love to take out. Like, you're on the other team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're playing against dad.
But like on a Saturday, you go out there and you got like a bunch of little kids like doing a birthday party thing or whatever. You got some adults that are out there. Then you got sometimes the competitive players are doing their
You
own
can't
thing
play
on the
on
speed
those,
field.
Josh.
No.
Yeah, you can't.
Josh be out there with the 4-year-old.
It's like I'm sniping on.
I want to get.
I want to win. I can't win. I can't win. I can beat the 4-year-olds.
But we are doing a thing where like once a month we do the mag fed for the guys that want to do like a little bit more of a tactical thing.
because you can imagine if I get to have 200 rounds in this and you get to have 30 in that, I manage. So,
it's different.
to get the guy that just want to play the
Where it's even playing field.
playing field.
Yeah.
So
we
they
always
can go out
divide up
together.
the groups and so we do one day a month where it's all the tactical stuff. So people that are out like maybe that have an interest in like real firearms training and things of that nature, it crosses over a lot. And like I was saying with the law enforcement agencies, like some of the SWAT teams and the groups will come out and they'll play regular paintball, but then they'll do like real drills of like, this is how we, work around buildings or things of that nature. So,
So do you guys just have like a website that everyone goes
you just go
to like see the times and days that you do
you just
things?
go to Wild
You can
World.
book your spot, all the things.
What's the website?
It's wildworldpb.com. But if you just Google Wild World,
And you're on Facebook and everything.
Facebook,
Instagram, you name it.
The Instagram's actually kind of does pretty good because one of the kids out there, like they do a way better job. So so there's cool pictures.
So, question that Matt asked me before the podcast today. He was embarrassed to ask you, but I'm going to ask for Matt anyway.
He's making
No.
That's the real thing I heard.
He's like, no. He starts
If
laughing.
Matt wanted to have like a 6-pack of Busch Light and hide in a tree during, like, could he like just hang out and like shoot like a sniper and drink, or does he have to actually be running?
Like a sniper.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't recommend
That's
it.
a beer league.
One, if you've ever tried drinking in a mask, you'd have issues. But
We're in the bear league. We're all sitting up in trees drinking.
hey, you just wait till they figure out where you're at in a tree, then you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, of course. You know where to go.
So this is what I got a funny story. The first time we played, they're like, now, if you get hit and you're not sure, you can call check. So we're out there, and I'm like, I think I got hit. So I was like, hey, check, because I got yelled at the last time before because they're like, hey, you're in trouble. Shocker. So I was like, check. So I'm standing there, and it's like I could just see the woods moving in on me. And they come out and they're like, nope, you're good. Okay, game on. I was like, okay, I'm never going to do that again.
No, you never asked for check. I'm like,
They don't use check over there. They keep going.
So I used to, about an hour and a half away in Wyandotte, Oklahoma, they used to host the largest paintball game in the world. It used to be called D-Day Oklahoma. It doesn't exist anymore, but it did, and it was a D-Day recreation. Yeah. And it was literally 4,000 people, 2,000 people per side.
Yeah.
And I went in 2004, which is the height of it. So I think they had 5,000 people there. And at the middle of the day, the Allied forces were supposed to take over this airfield, and they're all supposed to converge at this one spot. So it's all these different battles happening. You can't have 2,000 people in the same place, right? So all these different battles happen, but they all converge in this one spot, and then you have like an hour rest, and then you're going to go finish the day. Well, they all converge and they take this spot. Well, there's a tower in this airfield, and 2 people from the other team, 2 kids, I think they're like 16-year-old kids, were up in that tower. And when it got taken over, they were too scared to climb down. So they hid in there. And in that hour break, about 30 minutes into it, I guess they just got the courage and they stood up over the top and they started shooting down. And I saw 2,000 people go, And it was the most insane thing.
What a bad. Now we go back to this doesn't happen anymore. I think we're figuring it out.
Yeah, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. I've never heard
Just color covered in paint.
2,000 people just hammered them, and it was on half of them were guns like this. They're just humming, and you're shooting down.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and those poor kids climbed down, and they're just covered, and it was.
You know, one of the cool things they have now is they have paintball grenades.
Like paint grenades, smoke grenades.
It's like a thing. They do it all the time. And I'm like, it's so crazy. Like the technology, it's wild. Because now, is this the new small?
No, so this is a steel tank. This is
because I think Ceranski said they just built a small one.
Yeah, so carbon fiber. So this is a steel tank. You notice you picked it up. You said, "Oh man, it's a little heavy." Comparatively to this is a carbon fiber.
I mean, I was able to move it around, but some folks
the guns, but the real guns.
The guns,
Josh is currently transitioning from tennis to paddleball. So I mean,
pretty serious.
This is a good place to go.
Sounds like it's getting pretty serious.
But so a carbon fiber tank is considerably lighter, but still there's a weight to it that makes, again, firearm trimming a little bit tough because it backweights the gun. It's not the same balance. So I believe Billy's company, Core Outdoor, has taken this carbon fiber idea and found a way to make it even lighter and smaller to where you can take it. Now they have, if you'll notice on this one, you would attach the tank back here, but now they have a lot of technology where on different models where they'll take the tank and
it goes in there,
incorporate it into the stock. And so, and these lighter tanks can hold enough air to operate the gun significantly long enough to have fun with it, but still not alter the kind of the weight.
Yeah, because so now you got a smaller tank on your regular guns, and your stuff that's a little bit more realistic, operates more realistic. Yeah, because I saw one, and I think it was just like smaller than that, but it was.
So do they all hold the same pressure?
So steel tanks are rated to 3,000 psi, which if you think about 3,000 psi is not a lot. When I was in engineering school, we had I can remember we had a contest to civil engineering. We had to in concrete class had to get a concrete blend that could withstand 2,000 psi, and in 2,000 psi is this insane concrete thing that no one would ever spec for because it's whatever. 3,000 psi is a lot. These hold 4,500 psi. That's the pressure.
Oh, and they have a gauge.
Yeah, this gauge too, so you can see how much you have in there.
So you're out.
When you're out, if you're feeling it too much and blow a burst disc and all the fun stuff.
Well, boys, love to have you one more time to give us the website.
So it's a Wild World Paintball.
Yep.
We're in Tawnytown, Springdale.
Open 7 days a week?
No, mostly just weekends. Well, during the week is when we do the corporate team training.
By appointment during the week.
Okay.
Open play on the weekend.
Yeah, but
don't talk to Caleb about it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That's probably a good call.
It's like talking.
Sorry. Saturday, Sunday, open for appointment during the week.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and don't forget your Pure Leaf Arnold Palmer lemon tea. Brought to you today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.